What up? This is your boy Dope Boy.
CT is dope.
And this is another installment of the Just Us League podcast.
Just
Where's me, you,
Yeah.
and nobody else. Right?
The people.
How you feeling today, man?
I'm incredible, man. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm pretty good. But before we even start, man, we're going to talk about this little hoopla we had at the front door.
Let's talk.
Okay. So, we were supposed to be starting at 5:30.
Yes.
This man texted me at 5:26 and 5:25. I didn't see it till I actually got in here, and was like, "Well, where are you at?" And then when
That's
I
not
walked
what I
in,
said. Stop misquoting me.
You said you close.
I said, "Hey,
Close?
you close?" Question mark.
Right.
That
Then
makes a world of difference.
I get in the house. He's like, "Hey, man," you know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Man, it's 5:30." He was like, "But it's 5:30." So he would say, "But before we even get into all that, my bad. I apologize. I apologize because I have set up a precedent of being so early when we're at the other studio. I kind of was just a little loose. I'm like, we're at the house. So I just show up closer to the time. But normally I show up 15, 20 minutes early. That's what I normally do. I kind of was maybe got a little loosey-goosey because it was coming to the house. I'll tighten it back up.
You know, the reason I can't accept that apology
They're going to accept it.
is because you often say that. You often say, you know what? I got a lot loose because this is like 2 episodes ago. You said this exact
But
same thing.
I've never been late coming here. I've never been late. I just haven't been as early as I normally be.
Here's the thing. So I'm glad that you said that.
Okay.
And to the people that are listening, because you have such a way with words. Mm-hmm.
I'm a writer.
You bend things to your favor. Hopefully you wrote some bars. So what I say 5:30, right? Mm-hmm. He says, cool. 5:26 comes. I'm like, hey, man, you close? Because we're starting. I'm trying to start at 5:30, right? Mm-hmm. 5:30, he's knocking on the door. I'm like, man, that's crazy. Somebody who's always early. I'm not expecting the studio time where you get there 30 minutes early, but it's like, hey, maybe 10 minutes before 5:30, so we can start at 5:30. So when you were like, hey, man, it's 5:30, and I'm like, yeah, it's 5:30. You're late.
My bad. I'll start being back my custom, a few minutes early. That's what I normally do. But I'm here, man. How was your week that just passed?
Man,
how
let me
are
tell you something,
teams?
brother. The week was fire, man.
Tell me about it.
Here's why the week was fire.
Okay.
I got a chance to really get some work done. Like the content that we shot over 2 weeks ago has been really hidden with the people, man. I'm feeling like the old me. And the only reason that is because I've been shooting it back with my phone. Like I took it back. I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Word?
Yeah.
No cameraman and sound and all of the things?
Right, because I was doing that, and it's like I'm spending the money on this stuff, and then the video wouldn't do well, and people they weren't quoting anything in the comments, and I'm like, I guess this is a bomb. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what am I doing that I haven't? What am I not doing? You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I'm not doing all the work anymore. I was outsourcing. I had a cameraman. I had he was doing editing. He was doing sound, color correcting, the boom stuff, and
So now you're recording everything with the phone and cutting it?
Yeah, I used to.
Is that a lot more time consuming than it is just handing it? Because I'm assuming you got to go over the dailies with the guy when he gets them to you, right?
When he gets it to me, yeah. It's just a back and forth process.
Right.
I like to do all my work in one, right? So it's like when I'm editing the content, I'm cutting it, right? I'm like, oh, this doesn't fit here, or this is better here. Let me add this kind of sound, or let me double. This is Chinese to people. Anyway, me doing it is what the people start rocking with me for in the beginning anyway.
Okay.
And I kind of got jaded, and then I hired somebody, and then those weren't doing well. So I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, bro.
Well, sometimes they say you got to kiss it. You know what that means?
No.
Keep it simple, stupid. Not calling you stupid, but that's
Keep it
just
simple, stupid.
That's
I
what
like
I
that.
learned way back in the day when it comes, because I'm a constant overthinker of things, and that's what
you.
This guy.
That's crazy.
Well, that's dope that you found back you got back to your roots.
Yeah, man.
Of sorts. I was just kind of in a funk this week. I kind of had told you, about that. The other day I was just like, man, I'm just kind of out of it because I still got that polar, not that bi.
Not that bi.
Still got that thing.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So I don't be knowing what it is, and sometimes I genuinely be getting up like, meh. Like, just like,
what is this, Tuesday? I'll try again Thursday.
And it's wild too because it doesn't necessarily have to be from anything that's happening in the world, and I don't even know if it's the condition. Sometimes I'm just like, well, maybe I kind of came up with a theory. I wanted to ask you about it.
I would love to hear it.
Okay, so growing up, when you grew up, it was in the house. It was you, your mom, and your sister, correct?
Right.
Okay, I'm starting to think because I was talking to Shantae the other day, and like she was basically
Love Shantae.
Shout out to
every day.
Shantae. Shout out to Shantae. She was basically telling me because it came up in a conversation, and I'm pretty sure you've heard of this. Basically, when women are in the same house, their periods sync like Wi-Fi. Like, you know what I'm saying? They be on it at the same time. However that happens as a woman, whatever. And so I was just starting to think maybe I could be wrong, but maybe since I have a daughter and I have a girlfriend in the same house with all these mood changes, maybe my mood could be affected by theirs. That's why I wanted to ask you, growing up, did you ever have mood swings, or do you think it may have been contributed to being the only man in a house full of women?
Great question. Solid question. My sister's mood never impacted anybody's mood in the house.
Okay.
My mother, because it was her house, her mood impacted how everybody
Her mood was the mood.
If she unhappy, that's the mood. You know what I mean? But no, my mood has never been down because of you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just trying to come up with things. I'm just like, why is this happening? And when I try to do the self work that I be trying to do, because I just be trying to get better every day. What I do be noticing, I be like, I was like, though, when you get sunshine, when you work out, when you get water, when you're kind of on your regimen, you're good. But then sometimes I just be like, man, forget that gym. I just be like, I don't even want to pull up on it. So I'm just this week it wasn't nothing too intense, but I think I'm also excited too that September is over. September was a lot. September was two birthdays. It was Kiara's birthday, it was Tony's birthday, and it was an anniversary, all jammed within a 30-day Festivus. So I'm glad that we are here to October.
You know what's funny, man? First of all, Halloween is my favorite holiday. But
really?
Yeah.
Are you going to tell the people what you're going to dress up as, or are you going to make it a surprise?
I got a lot of costumes. That's the thing. It's what do I want to do? And then it's when we have the Halloween joint here, am I going to dress up or am I just going to have a onesie on?
You almost have to,
But
man.
it's interesting because when I told this story before, but my mom, I got sick because you remember school parties used to be the dopest parties on the planet.
Absolutely.
And my mom got me a costume to go as a vampire to my elementary school. It was, I think, 5th grade, and I was so hyped to go, and I got sick the day of Halloween, and my mom was like, you can't go to school, and I'm like, come on, I'm all right, come on. It wasn't even cold. I was weak. I was like, I catch the bus. I crawled to her room to tell her, I can make it, right? And she was like, go to sleep, and when I get home from work, we'll watch a movie or something. I'm like, okay. And I went to sleep, and this is at 7:30 in the morning. I felt like I blinked, and when I blinked again, it was 6:45 p.m.
Oh, yeah, that's that good sleep.
I'm talking about I was knocked out.
That's that good sleep. Wow.
And my mom was like, how you feeling? And I was like, surprisingly better. I felt so good, right? So she was like, go put your costume on. I'm like, I don't want to go outside. You know what I mean? So she was like, go put your costume on, knock on my door. I'm like,
I had to come knock on my door.
So I put the costume on, still just oblivious. Knocked on her door. She said, say trick or treat. And I was like, she is petty. Trick or treat, right? She says, come in. I'll open the door. And she had these bags of candy. Just for me.
Shout out to Mama CT.
And I was like, oh. And she was like, yeah, this is even better than your party because you get all the candy. And what do you want to watch? And we watched some kind of kids Halloween movie. And from that day forward, it was my favorite holiday of all.
You had an impeccable childhood.
My mom's dope, man. My dad is incredible as well. But my mom, man, can't be.
Man, I didn't really have a lot of cool like Halloween stories. I trick-or-treated till about 19. So that's just to the point where people was like, bro, come on, this has gotta I wanted the candy.
You got money in your pocket. Trick or treat, but if you don't go buy a Snickers, what are you doing?
But look, hey,
you could almost drink. You smoke a cigarette.
They're like, yeah, put it in the bag, man. Put it in the bag. Flick the cigarette up. I'm out of here.
Nerd.
Yo.
As you flick the cigarette.
Yo, I went live last night and I found out an atrocity in American cinema that I'm gonna lay it on you, and this is just gonna blow your mind.
Let's hear it.
Do you know that there is even it is even harder for black folks to even enter the horror genre as killers in horror genre? Do you know the backstory of Candyman? He's the only black guy that's in horror films. Mm-hmm. Do you know his do you know his backstory?
No.
It is ridiculous. He is the son of a slave.
Uh-huh.
And he's basically you first once I heard that, I kind of just checked out of everything. I'm like, really? Like, this is what? And then you have to like think about all the other killers.
You want us to make your movie?
You're a slave, like,
Make him a slave.
and then you think about all the different things you got to do to even have this guy show up. You got to go into a bathroom, turn off the lights, say his name 3 times. Jason doesn't have to go through all that. Freddie doesn't. None of these guys have to do that. And I want to know, why do black people have to struggle so hard in Hollywood? Why does this have to be like this? I'm angry.
You know what, Doughboy? I'm gonna say this right now.
I'm ticked off.
I'm gonna say this right now.
Here we go. What?
If I hear you say this on stage,
I'm not saying that. Why do you think? See, now you're gonna think everything is just me having an open mic in front of people.
That was too specifically. A punchline was written.
It was no punchline.
You wrote a punchline.
I literally was angry at it. I wanted you to get angry. I thought you would raise the medallion with me because you watch movies so much.
Look me in my eyes.
I'll be it.
Doughboy.
Stop thinking that this is a battleground for material.
Look me in my eye.
I'm looking you in your eyes.
Tell me.
I'm telling you.
You're laughing. Tell me that you have not thought about saying that on stage.
Do you think it can win? It's time sensitive to Halloween.
I knew it. It was too well thought out, bro.
But it is true.
It's true. But
I was seeing you look at me with this skeptical eye.
I knew it, bro. Because I stalled you out.
Nah.
I stalled you out the first one a couple shows ago. And I was like, nah, man.
I do think that's some BS, though. I genuinely do feel that.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, bro, like, because when you really.
All you got to do is go to sleep for Freddy. You got to be in the woods for Jason.
That's all they got to do. You got to actually have actionable items that you do. Have you seen Candyman?
Yeah, you gotta be in proximity to Michael Myers' sister to die. But Candyman, you gotta find a mirror. Candyman. Candyman. Say it again.
And then hoping ain't somebody else calling them at the same time.
That's a fact.
It doesn't make sense.
But if you saw did you see the new Candyman?
I haven't seen it,
bro. So I didn't see the first one. I still haven't seen the first one. I saw the second one, and it explained things.
Okay.
Without spoiling anything for anybody, because I'm not a spoiler, what you just said, and hopefully somebody isn't calling him somewhere else at the same time, you should see the movie.
Okay. Was it worth to watch? Because I'm hearing it.
Yes.
Did Jordan Peele do it?
I think he produced.
So has he just turned his back on comedy? Or is this just like almost like how your comic book is to you? Is this just like a thing he's doing?
Well, it's definitely not a thing he's doing because he produced on.
We're not trying to shade what you're doing. I know it's important to you, but you know, I know you're not going to stop doing comedy.
No. I think this is something he's always been in love with and needed a way in. Okay. And comedy will always be there, but it's like when you start getting on a roll for something, you gotta do it. But Jordan Peele is so dope because all these hidden talents. I think it's like when you look at Rest in Peace Kobe when he got his Oscar.
Right.
It was like
over a book, right? A book or a little movie.
It was an animated short.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did this come about, right? And it's because of one of his side passions. So it was like, this makes sense. So with Jordan Peele, it's like, bam.
Right.
So with horror. But with his comedy, I definitely think he's going to give us something when you least expect it.
Because I feel like we haven't got nothing from him since Keanu. It feels like, at least.
Oh, comedy-wise.
Yeah, comedy-wise. And I love him as you know, I love what he did, you know, for comedy. I love what he and Key did. So I'm just like, man, I just wonder, you know, if he's ever going to get back to that.
That's a solid question.
I don't, because I love
that wasn't received well,
he's
though.
Funny. What, Keanu?
Yeah.
I love that.
I loved it too. Speaking of what you just said, so I don't forget, you said, I just forgot it. You said you heard about Candyman.
Yes.
You were like, I was hearing this and I was hearing that. Let me give you this advice, man. Okay. Stop listening to people's opinions about movies because you got to remember, you're ridiculous. So
There's no other adjective to describe.
You're ridiculous.
I'm ridiculous.
So when people tell you something is good and you see it, you be like, eh. So when we be like, yo, that's trash, you'll be like, oh, I love it.
I might love it. And I do be loving movies that other people don't like. Yeah. Let me ask you about this to take it back to Jordan Peele and his passions. What would you say is your biggest passion outside of comedy? Like stuff to do. Like if you could have been anything else besides a comedian, what would it have been? Was there ever anything else you wanted to be?
Other than a comedian, I could have easily saw myself as a teacher.
Okay.
And now as the internet has evolved, I could easily see myself just being like a video creator.
Just a video game guy. Okay. Yeah. So
no, not video game guy, like a video
game creator?
I mean, look at what I do. So
you mean like a video content creator?
No, I mean, look what I do. I'm a stand-up comedian.
You are.
I write, I act, all successfully, and then podcasting, and then you got sketches,
right?
And then you got reaction videos. So you got reaction videos, sketches, podcasting. These are all just videos. That's
okay,
that's
gotcha.
What I mean. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing that I was asking because I had hosted this thing the other night for a few friends of mine. Shout out my boy Triune and EQ. They're in a group called the Combine.
Triune.
Triune. That's a noble name. Huh? This guy gets it. So it was dope too because they were having like a listening party for the project, and my first love is music. Like, so before they start the party, everybody's like passing, well, not everybody, just the artists are like passing the aux cord around, just playing stuff. And so like anybody else got something. So I'm like, all right, so cool. I play something. I play 2 records and it just gets this really good reaction. And I just be like, sometimes because way before I ever told a joke, I always dreamed of being a rapper. Then like I come home and I sit at the desk, I just be like, I really love rapping, and then I just kind of get into this zone of, though, you're going to have to officially put out one, because it's never gonna sit right. Even if it sells 2 copies and me and you are the only people who buy them, I'm going to have to
just volunteer my money.
You have to, man.
You and I are back. And then,
I know me and you, because you get it. So, and I was just wondering, like, if there was any other things that you do well, outside of the comedy thing that you would just be like, I mean, I got all of this stuff, but if I could do this thing, that would be cool too. Because I would love to like put out an album and people just be, and not necessarily a funny album. I mean, funny would be cool, but I would love to do it. I was just interested to see if there was anything else of your many talents that you'd be like, I wouldn't have mind being a full-time gamer or, something else.
There's something that this is something that I wanted growing up. I didn't so much as want to be a wrestler because the injuries are real.
Oh yeah.
But I always enjoyed good old JR from WWE. Like he was a voice. He's the voice of a generation, right? And now he's at AEW. But my thing is, I know the way that I am about things. I would. You
mean like he was a commentator?
Announcer, yeah.
Oh, that would be dope for you. Have you ever looked into possibly getting into that?
No.
I don't think it would be as difficult as you would think. Because you know how I think you could do it? I think that, because on Twitch, you can watch different stuff, right?
Right.
I think if wrestling stuff came on, you could turn off the volume and you just commentated, and your tribe would watch you and you're commentating.
Yeah, here's the thing, man.
Let me tell you why. Before let me lay this on a little bit thicker. My bad. Pause.
Let me lay this on a little bit thicker.
New nickname alert, Duncan Hines. I didn't even have it, but I just threw it in again. Because when I lay it, it's going to be thick. Okay, but here we go. Duncan Hines. Duncan. It sound like
Duncan Hines.
I'm going to lay it on thick. Because this is the thing. Yeah. I've always felt this way amongst all sports. I feel like there is a lack of urban representation. And what I mean is, I love watching basketball. Don't necessarily want to hear these commentators. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with football.
Yeah.
And I always be like, why won't they let like some comedians or some like hipper people commentate on this stuff? Because you and I know like vocality is key. So if you could have somebody like perfect example, a few months ago when Jake Paul knocked out Nate Robinson and you had Snoop, the most memorable thing was Snoop being like, yeah, dude. So, bro, I think that should be something that maybe you should look at, because I used to be a big wrestling fan back in the day, but then I kind of fell off of it. But if I could hear CT commentating it, I'd check in for a match.
Hey man, I'm always with it. I know, a couple of my friends, my guy Johnny LaQuasto, who was with WWE.
It's a fire name.
LaQuasto? Or Mike Rome in WWE. He's an announcer for it. But it's not something that's bad. David Otunga, who former WWE wrestler, still with the company, but he's amazing.
I think that you should maybe that should be some of your voiceover stuff. Maybe start getting little wrestling clips and voice them over.
Well, it's not about voiceover. And I'm glad you said that, bro. People can't accept different people doing things, right? So, for example, I remember the first time I saw a video online. It's still on my Instagram. LeBron was talking to the Ball kid. What's the first Ball son that was on the Lakers?
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo Ball. So LeBron was talking to Lonzo, and I thought that this clip was hilarious. And then Kobe and his daughter were literally in the stands, and the camera flashed to them. And I thought this clip was hilarious. This is about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Thought the clip was hilarious. I voiced it over, right? Got a lot of good views. And then a lot of the comments were showing love, like, "Oh man, this is so funny," blah blah blah. Ebro from Ebro in the Morning followed me off that video.
Really?
Right? He was like, "Man, this is so funny," and he started looking at my other stuff. Shout out to Ebro. And then there were some comments that were like, "Who do you think you are, Tony Baker?
Why did I know you were going to say that?
Patrick Cloud?" And it's like, "Yo, fam,
wow,
like I love these guys.
Right,
they're friends of mine, but I'm like they." Also like the video.
Exactly.
But it's like,
and it's different too because they don't do sports video.
Well, even if they did, it's my point is it's like people won't allow you to do certain things. Right. First time I did I did an I'll Be Back, but it wasn't called I'll Be Back. It was like there was a Zoom challenge, right? And I did a video about the Zoom challenge, and I was just like making jokes about it. Ended up getting like 200,000 views in like a week.
Nice.
And it was big because I had never done no video like that. And then one of the comments literally said, "Leave this stuff to Patrick Cloud." And I'm like, what? Like, again, Patrick's my friend.
Right.
But it's like, bro, and I literally responded to this guy. I went to the DM because I'm not about that public talking.
Right.
I'm going to talk to you in
Cussing
private.
out in them DMs?
Bro.
It goes down?
I say, bro, and he followed me. That's the thing that annoyed me. It's like, how can you say leave this to Patrick Cloud when this is my video? I'm not doing anything that anybody else is doing, and everybody has their own thing. It doesn't mean that everybody owns it. If stand-up comedy was owned by one person, you wouldn't know a Dave Chappelle.
Facts.
You wouldn't know a Monique or whoever your favorite comedian is. So I say this to this guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're right, bro. My bad. LOL." And then
I just wanted to get a response.
Exactly.
Had it.
So the people aren't able to mentally allow somebody to do something in a space until you say, forget what people think. I'm going to brand what I do. So that's how I got into sketches. That's how I got into doing side-by-side reaction videos. That's how I got into talking about Power Rangers, wrestling, anything that I want to do. Even Twitch. So I got into Twitch. Is like everything that I want to do, I'm going to do it in spite of comments of people who are idiots.
No, that's really dope that you say that, because I've been like challenging myself. I'm like, I had to tell myself like recently, I was just like, Doe, I love all the stuff that you, like, I'll be talking to myself like this.
I was just about to ask you that.
I'll be like, Doe, I think it's great. I love your transparency about a lot of things. That's cool. But get back to being funny. Like, I literally said this to myself. Like, that's cool, but you got to get back to your bread and butter, your chops. And then so when I started thinking about different content, like I thought about all the different mediums of different things that you can do, like, the side to side, side by side videos, or getting back into parodies, but sometimes the fear of what people will say about what you're doing will stop you from doing anything. So just like how you say, people said, "Oh, who do you think you are? This person, that person." Like, and so my fear stopped me from being like, I'm like, man, I don't want people to think I'm trying to be in this person's lane or this person's lane. So I'm glad that you definitely said that, because we're all different in our own thing. And I'm never here to, duplicate whatever anybody's doing. I'm always here to, come in my own special
I can't compete with anybody because, one, I'm the best.
There you go.
There's nobody that's going to top me in anything that I do. But also, I'm competing with me being better than what I was before. So, for example, I don't typically hold credit into someone saying, oh, you shouldn't do this or you can't do this. If you think that I'm copying somebody, I go to the person, right? For example, Tahir was doing Zoom with the homies. So I'm talking to Tahir and I was like, man, I want to, like, this is when I was about to hit the 1 million on my Facebook. And I was like, dude, I want to do something where I'm able to talk to people about specific things, but I don't want it to be like Zooming, right? Okay. I'm like, I want my own thing, like almost like a late night show, but at the same time, we could kick it about video games or Power Rangers or dating or whatever. And this is me and Tahir on the phone. And he's like, you could do any of those, but how about do this? And then he threw some sauce on this and he added some pizzazz to that. And I was like, yo, that's dope, right? So I'm like, bam, I'm doing this, right? I'm setting the time. And then I was like, yo, man, he has this app where he created flyers. I'm like, you got to teach me how to do this app, because the whole conversation happened because he was over the crib and I was telling him about how to work Facebook and how to work Facebook, the business side, and how to work like YouTube, like a little bit. Right. So we were talking about that and we were just exchanging information. So then I'm like, yo, how do I make a flyer on my own so I'm not continuously going to, people who know this out there, if you make flyers or you know somebody who makes flyers, 98% of the people who make flyers overcharge you and they drag their heels on giving you what you need. And it's not as difficult as they make it seem. Bro. I gotta do color correction. Shut up. Could you send me the pictures? Listen, man, I gotta go to a funeral tomorrow. I got work, man. My child's sick. If you want this, I'm gonna need what I need. All these, he said, I'm gonna need. So I was like, yo, how do I do this? And he taught me how to use the app, like literally step by step, just like I taught him how to do that. Right, so I'm like, oh, great. Make the flyer, right? I dropped the flyer. First comment. Oh, so you still in Zooming? And I'm like, jeez. He literally helped me create, you know what I'm saying? The creator of what you're talking. Because I did the show CT After Dark during the day, which you've done before. I started doing Villainy, which is a murder mystery game. I did all of these things on story time, like all these things on my socials. Dang, you really do you run your joint like a TV station, damn near. Yeah, man. Different shows. So I'm like, as soon as I see these comments, I get annoyed because I'm like, and I call him. I'm like, you helped me tell him to do this. And as I told you, this wasn't not even something I would never tell him on the show. I was like, yo, like this is so annoying. He's like, man, people are always gonna be unhappy when they see something that they think is like something else, right? And in the meantime, you see Coke and Pepsi and nobody's saying anything. Tripping. And I'm like, yo, I would never steal from my friend. I wouldn't steal, but I would never steal from my friend, especially. And people's comments, people don't realize how comments affect people, because the thing that they always fall back on is, well, you chose this career. You should be built for this. You're a comedian. You should be able to handle jokes. You have a face. You should be able to handle this fist. Is that the thing? And that's the thing too. People don't understand that artists are way more sensitive than most people. Like you got to think about it. When you're an artist, you are literally putting together something that you think is cool, dope, or whatever, and you're presenting it to the world. And when you're like us, like you're doing this day in, day out, and just hoping people will accept it, like the likes and the taps. So no, when you're trying to insinuate that somebody is trying to be less than having integrity by telling somebody, like, no, we take that stuff personal. That's why, like, I be, for the most part, bro, I be out of the comments, because I just be like, emotionally and mentally, I can't even deal with that sometimes, because it's just like, it gets to me. I'd rather just keep putting out the content, and I could tell by the metrics and the analytics if it's working. But sometimes, well, two things. Yes, and also for that story, shout out to my boy to hear more. But yes, and for yours, I saw a comment. Well, first of all, you need to know, on my channels, people show nothing but love. Okay. Nothing but love. The Team CT fan base is super loving and supportive. Right. I saw a comment that you responded to from someone that had made me did I hit him back with the book when I hit him with the law? Because they were talking about my weight? I said it like What did he said something, and your response was so eloquent.
Right. He said something to the effect he was talking about my weight. He was like, and saying that I was making excuses about it or something to that effect.
Okay.
And then I just went to break it down. He was just like, no, that's what it was. He said, I forgot exactly what he said, but the way he was talking about my weight. And then when I broke it down, I said, hey, well, thank you, for that statement. I was like, here are a few of the reasons of, the things.
No, the first thing you said, you was like, wow, that's a great idea if I'm trying to beat myself up. Right. However, a couple of things have been going on that contribute to this.
Exactly.
And you said, you were like,
this.
And then you said, but thank you so much for watching. Appreciate the love. This dude backpedaled so fast.
I didn't even see the response.
No, boy, it's just me. I got nothing but love for you. It's because people say things that go unchecked.
They do.
And people think that you can say whatever. I've always, the reason that a lot of the members of Team CT are loving and supportive, not outside of the fact that they're great people in general, but a lot of the people who might not just be innately great people, I had to say, look, man,
chill out.
These cameras,
right.
Forget whatever you think your impression of me is. I got hands. I'm not saying you don't.
They work.
But I also need you to know you're not just going to say whatever you want to say to me because you think that this is something that I won't see. And I know you might be wherever you are writing this comment right now, but if I was in your face, not as an intimidating thing, but if I was in your face, you wouldn't greet me with such disrespect.
Right.
So let's always talk to each other with respect.
Right. And that's the thing that I do too, man. And I be trying to just go and just respond to the more positivity because that's just, and that's just what I learned. The more that you emote and put out in there, you'll get more of it. So, I try not to.
Give it
and I try not to even, respond to that. But it's just like with something, especially as someone's weight, it's like, bro, I've been tripping off my weight my whole life, and then to go through what I've gone through recently of being down really close to where I wanted to my goal, then gaining, and then obviously I know, like, that's the one thing I be wanting to tell people when they, like, you're not giving me any information or giving anyone any information about their size. Like, I said, look at me before you look at me. I get it. We don't need you to tell us, hey, man, you don't know what you put on.
Stain on your shirt.
Like,
you got a stain on your shirt.
I really would have never known that had you not told me so.
Because I'm so close to the house. Why wouldn't I change my top?
Why wouldn't I even look at the top before I said action? So yeah, people be.
I couldn't have known that I had a stain.
And the back pedal is always hilarious. Or the man, I'm supporting me. I just wanted to respond. Shut up.
Speaking of, so first of all, shout out to Pretty Strands Hair Oil.
Hey,
starting to shout out the sponsors.
Okay.
Specifically, I'm gonna talk more about Pretty Strands. If you want to grow your hair, if you want your hair to grow fast, Pretty Strands. I will add the site in the YouTube bio. Go to the site, Pretty Strands. Thank you so much for the love and support.
All the good stuff.
Why I mentioned that?
Why did you do it? It was out the blue.
Doughboy.
What's up?
There are certain things that I don't let you be privy to because you don't like to handle certain things.
What you mean? Man, first of all, I need to be privy to everything. Put me on the phone with it. What is it, man?
So we get sponsorship requests often.
Didn't know this.
Doughboy, there's a reason you don't know this.
Why?
If I can finish the sentence.
Okay.
There's a reason you don't know this because the requests that come in, like 90% of them are people who just want a shout out and they don't want to spend any money, right?
Okay.
So first of all, I tell people this. I tell them the rates for sponsorship. I tell them what they're getting with the sponsorship. And I tell them there's a minimum as far as we could do weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. But if we're doing weekly, it's a minimum of 2 weeks. Okay. Because anybody about to just waste their time, right? So this guy reaches out. He's like... This guy reaches out. He's like, "Hey man, so yeah, I'd like to do weekly." I'm like, "Cool, right? Minimum of 2 weeks." Yeah, but I just want to do 1 week because I just want to test the water and see on my return. And I say, "Listen,
so I put the toe in the water."
I say, "Listen, man. I wish you nothing but the best, brother, but you got to understand what I laid out to you was not that.
Right.
You don't think everybody just wants to get in quick on a one quick shout out situation?
Come on,
and you ain't spending no money, right? So he's like, I just want to get a guarantee. I say, listen, in anything, you can't get a guarantee. If you get, if somebody says your name on any platform, on any show, no matter how many people see it and whatever, your
You're winning.
sales could be 1, 0, 1,000, 10,000, a million. You never know. However, you doing a sponsorship thing, so if you don't get sales from something, you're gonna blame your sponsor.
That doesn't make any sense.
From
Why
a
would
business standpoint.
Right.
So I say, hey man, it's a 2-week minimum. This is what happens. Then he says, how many episodes per week? I say, listen.
Come on. Do you watch
the show, brother?
That you want to promote on?
Listen, when I be talking to some people, I literally... How many episodes have you seen per week, fam? Oh, it's just about 1.
There's your answer, sir.
What do you think we're doing? 5 episodes a week for your... Like, people want something for nothing. You want to spend X amount of dollars for this. Oh my god!
And that's the thing, man. Like, and I don't know what this brother's nationality was, but just understand, man. We young black business, we pushing, we got it, man. And that's why, like, even when like I buy stuff from my friends, like a lot of times when I get stuff from people, like they be like, no, I don't want no hookup. I don't want no. Let me just buy, because we have to support one another. And we just coming up on the humble, like, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to do our thing. That's why we even have rates and things affordable for the everyman. We're not trying to hit everybody over the head. We get it. We're not at 1 million views an episode just yet, but we are trying to do a lot.
But don't name. It's gonna cost a bridge. Shout out to Pretty Strands. You guys are doing such an amazing job. If you want your hair to grow fast, you want natural products in your hair, nothing that you have to worry about stinging or harming your skin, check out PrettyStrands.com.
Come on, and let's talk about this, because I had to hear your opinion on this for a few reasons. All right, so the Millennium Tour is getting back together. So they're getting back on the streets with this, and so, you know, the B2K, I believe,
because that's what the streets been asking for
years.
Is B2K.
Quiet as it is kept.
I know
they are really, you know, gonna put some butts in the seats.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, I don't know how I feel about this. I'll see how you feel about this first. So 2 of the group members of B2K had a pretty public falling out, and it was over a lady. So basically, Fizz was dealing with Omarion's child's mother,
April Jones, who's thick as molasses.
Yeah. And so he was messing with her after they had broken up. So first, let's just unpack that first. Is that breaking bro code for show? Like, to be like, I felt like that was a little over.
She think it's bacon grease in a Folgers can after it cool off.
Does your mind think like that?
She's so thick.
No, she is.
Oh, it makes no sense to be that thick.
So would you break the rules for that thickness?
Let me tell you something, brother. You looking at a real one. All right. Now, here's what I will say.
Okay.
I shout that brother out for finally apologizing to this man.
Okay, so yeah, that was the second part of it. He apologized live on stage. So that's the 2 parts that I want to talk about. For 1, was he wild for even doing it in the first place? And for 2, do we respect the move for him apologizing in front of everybody?
Okay, this is why I respect the apology.
Okay.
He apologized in front of everybody, just like he disrespected him in front of everybody.
Right.
That's the thing that you could be like, I can give some love for that. However, because, you know, a lot of people want to apologize in private if they've disrespected you publicly.
Right.
I've never been a fan of that. It's like, they be like, they say something really loud and rah-rah, but then it's like a private.
But they whisper
I was wrong about this. I just want to tell you sorry about that.
My bad.
Anytime I've disrespected somebody, I've apologized in the exact manner I've disrespected them. When me and you have had arguments, if I had it in that group chat, I apologize to you in that group chat.
These are facts.
But let's back up.
Okay. Let's unpack this.
Let's unpack it, man. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Unzip the suitcase. It's like this. They were child stars. They grew up together.
Childhood friends, too.
Childhood friends. We know that as the public.
Right.
When it happens, and this is the power of that sauce, man. Power of that sauce in that box. He said, I remember seeing this and being like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We ain't really friends. It's just like, you know, we in a group. It's business. You know, we do music and we tour, but we ain't never been friends. And everybody will tell you we ain't never been friends. And I was like,
but see,
everybody will tell you. Hold tight.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm already caught by like, it's like that because the sauce is involved, right? Then After the sauce dries up on it, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they stopped kicking it. Now you get a chance to soberly see that this man never disrespected either of you guys in public. He kept it classy.
And he kept it so cool. Shout out to
This little thing with the arms, I don't know what that was. And he never disrespected them, right?
Right.
So then your brother comes up. He says, hey, man, I did some snake stuff. I want to apologize, man. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Also, it's easy to apologize after you didn't got that box.
Come on.
Now, if you can apologize before you get the box, then it's
That's
like,
saying
all right.
something.
But you got the box. Got it a lot. Was
Probably
able
got
to
it enough to
destroy-
get tired of her.
Oh yeah, because you know what happens. You show me a girl everybody want to smash. I'll show you somebody that's tired of doing it.
So this is the thing, okay? I feel two ways about this. For one, it's difficult to really have a ton of respect for J Boog in this
It's Lil Fizz.
instant. Oh, this was it Lil Fizz?
You already getting names.
J. Well, okay.
You're the one who brought it
Well-
up. You got to know people's names.
Make some more hit records, guys, and then I'll remember that. I'm just come on, come on.
I will not allow you to talk about B2K like this. Give me some more. I'm not gonna allow you.
I'm just saying, man. Like we ain't heard that since Pandemonium. It's been 20 years. What is Little Fizz doing? And don't get me started on that Raspberry. Okay, anyway. So,
Apparently
so
he hasn't went flat yet.
Lil Fizz. He ain't even flat. Okay. So Lil Fizz.
He
This
got a
is
little
why
Fizz left.
lips. So this is why I can't fully respect it. Y'all was friends when y'all was young. I don't care what you say. I remember back in the day, y'all was 17,
Yeah.
18. So y'all was kids. Y'all was in a group together. For you now, I mean, you can go back and forth. Because when Tony was putting the docket together, she was like, "Well, is this a bro code thing?" I mean, because UNCT had y'all situation back in the day. I was like, "No, that was different. That was different because she was my girlfriend. I wasn't her boyfriend. Those are different. Those are different situations." And I'm grown enough to admit that. But this is a different situation. As a
And
child,
we weren't
that tight yet. We
yeah.
barely knew each other. So you know what I'm saying. So that was totally different. So ain't nobody in my life that I would consider a friend if you went around with Kiara's mom. Like after me and Kiara, like. No, and they like I'm probably gonna punch you in your face every time I see you.
Yeah.
Just because, bro, there's a billion other ones, and that just shows.
Again?
Like, come on, man, we work out at the same gym.
I didn't even tell you that.
I was here to work delts and lats.
Delts and lats.
So that's the thing. So I can't really respect that because it truly says
We in church, brother. Come on, brother, not
this
right
keeps
now.
happening. I keep trying to play it off. Do I need
No,
to?
it's the bottom thing. Twist the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds.
Amen. But it's like, it's literally, if I am somebody that you grew up with, which he is,
I took it off.
they grew up in a situation where they became a group. They're training to dance. They're going all around the world. They're in the studio. They're making records. These are the only 3 dudes that you're around every single day. So for you to be like, yeah, we ain't really friends. You're right, because we're family.
Exactly.
That's completely different than just friendship, because when you family with somebody, bro, that's a completely different bond. That's a different relationship. And if you telling me that you've seen this woman who bared my child,
My child. 2 of them, I think, too. Nah, and I can't. That's why I can't give you that, because what it shows to Fizz's character is that his morals are flat. His values, are flat. Like you didn't catch it. So it's like you don't do that to your friend. Like, so that means that means for years you thought about it. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I can't really respect that. Then when you get your hand stuck in the cookie jar, I'd rather you just stand on it. Like, just be like, nah, like I fell in love with her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't put it on some we wasn't friends. No, we know you were friends. We know you came up in the trenches with this guy. Then this is probably the thing I least respect about it. Do what you do.
Yeah.
Just don't be the type of person that does it for money. And what I mean is, let me say that correctly.
Okay.
Because I'm not saying you can't be motivated by money and different things. But when it comes to morals and values, money should not shift you. I genuinely feel like you did this to get back on the story. You did this to be. It's a money play. I don't feel like you were sitting at home.
Oh, you don't believe it?
No. I don't know. I know that he apologized, but I believe the reason he apologized was to get back on that tour to get some money. Okay. I don't feel like because like you said, y'all not friends, right? If you're not friends, why are you apologizing? If he's just some dude, why don't you go on a tour and apologize to everybody's woman that you slept with in your life, Lil Fizz? Because he's not your friend, right? No. You knew this would be a viral moment. You knew everybody would talk about it. You knew it would most likely get you back on the tour. You want to get some bread. That's the part I can't.
Was he not on the tour?
No, he had got kicked off. He kicked him off the tour when all this came out. That's
Got
what I'm saying. So this was probably even a stipulation. I don't know if Omarion was like, but I'm pretty sure he was like, bro, like once they probably got it mended out, he probably was like, well, I'll do this. I think that this is why this motivated this, because if it was sincere and if it was genuine, you know what I mean? Because, bro, you were just on T. So which one? Only one of these things can be true. Two things can't be true. It's either he's not your friend, y'all was never cool, or you're really sorry, because you're not going to be sorry to somebody you don't care about that's not your friend. Ooh, he's contradicting himself.
I didn't even think about the money.
Yeah, that's just, you want to get on that tour. That Love and Hip Hop money drying up. I get it. Lil Fizz is not dropping a solo album. I don't know where this Lil Fizz hate came from today. I think whatever I was feeling this week is getting deflected on him. I feel great at the expense of Fizz.
I was thinking, because I got a chance when I was working on Hip Hop Squares. He was one of the guys that I prepped, and he was cool. Yeah, he was a nice guy. Also, Tangerine wasn't around, you know, for him to pop at. But I mean, here's the thing, bro. Everybody who has a friend in a relationship of the opposite sex, like if you and me are friends, if you and Tony were to break up, you don't have to worry about me even popping at her. Right. But in the situation of them, and there's a child involved, it's like, bro, I would rather you hit me with the look, man. Can I see the nudes? Then it's like, okay.
Happy medium.
You know, this is a happy medium. You're never try to smash my lady, but I get what you want.
Right.
Cool. But the way that happened, and then the turncoat was very unfortunate.
Okay, and I think that we need to unpack this, as, okay, we're both, men of a certain age. Let's talk about the
I'm 35. They're my age. I can talk about this.
I'm 42. I'm a little bit older. I did a glass of warm milk before I go to sleep. That's neither here nor there. But let's talk about what the bro code entails. Yeah. Right? Because there's obviously layers of this. And let's just go past just a few layers that are visible to the eye. Now, if you're married to somebody and y'all divorced, obviously, you don't mess with somebody's ex-wife. Everybody
depends on how they broke up.
Okay,
and
so
if I have a relationship.
Okay, so let's talk about it. So
if I have a certain code, I've told you that.
Well, tell me the code again.
Okay, my code. I've always had a list of people that they don't ever have to worry about me trying to get with their lady if they broke up in any form or fashion.
Okay, so that's just like
a list of them,
and you usually know them.
Yeah, that list is also not long.
Okay,
so everybody outside of that list, if I get the opportunity.
Really? Okay,
yes.
Well then this is highly interesting then, okay? Because, okay, so what if a marriage is broken up from infidelity for the man? Is she open game?
For infidelity for the man, well, none of that.
The man cheated. Okay, so you well, you said it matters how they divorced.
In a situation of, for me, my code. You asked what the code was. Okay. If they're on this list, no matter what happened.
Okay, they're just. Bam. Okay.
So under what you just said, if he cheated and she left him. If he's on my list, she's not getting.
Is what you're saying is only the individuals on this list, women are safe? So there's there's no war and love and anybody else woman. Okay.
So that means he wasn't on Fizz's list.
so he needs to ask. He did that. That's his business why he wasn't on Fizz's list.
Boog and Ransby was on his list. Omarion was.
I wonder who was on his. Because you would just think you would. Why wouldn't you put Omarion on that list?
He didn't put me on touch. I asked for a verse. He didn't put me on.
Fizz didn't have much of a career after B2K.
You know what's unfortunate is
him and Boog.
When it comes to group, well, Boog, I think
was Boog the Ronnie DeVoe of B2K?
That's an interesting reference.
Like it was what did Ronnie DeVoe do?
I'm not doing this.
I'm gonna see these things in a dark alley and get hit with metal pipes. It's gonna be Boog and Ronnie DeVoe.
Ooh, Ronnie DeVoe from Boston, man.
I just feel like, what did Boog do?
Listen, let's stick with Fizz. Now with Fizz, I always think about groups that have rappers in them, and if the rapper doesn't do any songs or guest spots on other artists' songs, I'm like, how come? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you look at somebody like even Lil Zane.
What happened to Lil Zane?
He's on BMF right now.
Is he? But what happened to his career?
He ain't little no more. That's
fat?
Old man Zane.
Old man Zane. I don't even feel like you could have, like, if it's Zane, I feel like when you get a certain age, you got to drop that. That sound like 26 max.
Your name
What
Xavier? What are we doing?
So, when you really think about it, I don't think we give Omarion enough credit for the weight that he pulled in that group.
He was the Beyonce of B2K.
More than that, though, because at least Kelly could sing.
Kelly is great. And
Okay, nobody else in B2K. I feel like I'm going to get B2K mobs to trash me this episode. I don't care. It makes me feel better. But I don't like B2K. Raz B never featured on those songs outside of that group. Nobody ever had a Boog feature.
Bump your eye. Hey, no boy.
He never, like, what did
Wait. You know what? One of the worst choruses in history.
What?
It's B2K and the Canada.
What were they doing? It was just random roll calls. I feel like he did a lot of heavy lifting for that group because nobody else did nothing but dance.
He was the star, bro.
Because none of them, like, when you really think about it, like, I bet he was up in the studio. I bet when them royalty checks came out, he was looking at niggas like, nah. You got to put some more cheese on this enchilada.
And they should never have the rapper in a group doing the dance routines. I think that's another thing that was his demise.
Who rapped in the group? Was it Lil Fizz?
Yeah, Lil Fizz was the rapper. He didn't sing. He was the rapper. So it's like, once you see a rapper doing this with a chair.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody buying no album.
Exactly. We don't want to see you with no hoodie and no Timbs later after that. You just did the centipede.
Hey, yo, 50. You know, I just left 2K. Who's
2K?
What? You was playing basketball? No. B2K. And, you know, I'm trying to get on the verse. All right, son.
Call it C2K. I'm running with the Crips. So now I think that this is what I do think the rules are, though. Ex-wives, you definitely don't do it. If they got a kid, don't do it. Now, this is the one, though. Some dudes out here, and we've had this conversation all along, some of these dudes will get mad if you just smash the same woman that they smashed. I've had this happen in my life. I've smashed the same woman as a guy, and he got mad. And I'm like,
well, you are Bareback Belcher. What
that got to do with anything?
It has everything to do with something. If you're Bareback Belcher and another guy got to go after that.
Dog. But the dude that we talk about, he was married too. So how you married and you getting mad?
Listen, man, I don't know that brother's business. I'm just going to say, in any form, I'm talking general.
I feel
if somebody comes behind a brother named Bareback Belcher, he has a right to be upset. Hey, who you been letting in this thing? BB. Who's BB?
BB.
Bareback Belcher. Boom, boom, boom. That's something to be angry at.
But I think that the rule should just be, because I don't think that I've ever smashed any of my homies' girls, and never if I wanted to.
Nice.
So I just think that should be the general consensus. Like, especially if I see that you like her, or why would I do? Like, you know what I mean? I
should never be punished for being introduced to a great piece of quality. It's like,
no, but okay,
you just brought Kool-Aid over here.
But this is
I didn't even know I wanted Kool-Aid.
This is how you got to look at this, though. There are billions upon billions of women.
Yeah.
If you know your guy is dealing with one, why?
Oh, that. But then again,
I know the list.
But beyond the list,
how many people would you say is on your list? Ballpark.
At max 5. And I haven't even looked at the list in a minute.
I would have thought the list would have grew over the years.
If anything, it's gotten shorter.
If I see that list and I ain't on it, we trading hands.
Listen, man. What?
I better be on that guy.
Listen, man. I told you Tony's off limits.
All right, man. Who else do we got on this thing? There was a couple other things I wanted to chop.
But listen, when it comes to bro code, like truly, I would say in the average person's mind, bro code is if you see that I've loved her, off limits. If it's just somebody you saw me with, do your thing, right? I've never understood how women could be okay. You ever see how a woman gets approached by a guy, right?
Right.
And she might be like, "Oh no, thank you, I'm not interested." And then he tries to holler at her friend, and then she's mad at him hollering at the friend. It's like you just turned him down.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because guys, like we're like, you know what I'm saying? Women, why do y'all do that?
Yeah,
If you don't want him, why you tripping? And then maybe that's why guys end up doing that and end up messing with their friends because you turned us down.
It's like, my thing is this. If anybody should be angry, it should be the girl that he goes at after you.
Because she was number two.
Because she was number two. But how can number one be upset at the guy going after number two? And they like, because he shouldn't be trying to holler at my girls. You shouldn't have turned him down. If he's not your speed, why do you care?
Facts.
If anything. But women are a lot cattier than men to where they'll be like, well, as soon as
it's just that pent up.
she got my leftovers. And it's like, why would you have to
exactly. I want to also talk about this, keeping in the
have you ever had that?
What?
Where you hollered at a girl, she said, no, you got a friend, and she got mad?
And the girl got mad?
Yeah.
I do believe at least once or twice. I'm thinking, who did that happen with? I'm trying to think. I know that it's happened before. Matter of fact, I think I ended up in a relationship with a girl.
Number two or number one?
With a number two. I hollered at her friend first, and at the same party. This is when I was super young. And at the same party, and she wasn't really rocking with me, so I went to number two. I don't know if either one of them knew that, but
how far did it go with number two?
She ended up becoming my girlfriend.
Oh wow! So did you ever have any smoke with number one?
She just was. It was always like a weird energy, and there was like a little friction between.
Did you
them.
know that they were friends?
No, because I met them both at a party.
Got it.
That's what I'm saying. I got both.
That's innocent.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But I knew I like kind of seen them together. I just got one's number, got the other one's number, and then I went to one first.
Bro, I went so. This is one of the times Sydney and I were hanging out, Sydney Castillo, and we were at like a Denny's hanging out after a show, and we met these two girls, right? And one girl was really cute, and the other one I didn't really notice, right? So I didn't holler at number one because I was just like, I'm just talking to number two. Number two seemed into me energy wise, right. So I'm talking to number two. And months go by, I don't think anything of it because we didn't exchange numbers or nothing. And then I see number two out without realizing that was number two. I saw her from behind, and I was like,
she had that thumbnail?
Man, she had that thumbnail, boy. And I was like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, you don't remember me? First of all, I hate when women say,
oh, they always coming back for the re-up. Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what is your name?
Women are much different than men in that regard. Like if a woman was overweight, like at one point in her life, and say she loses 100 pounds, she'll walk around with those jeans. And like she'll never mess with the dude. She'll be like, you didn't want me when I was at my big nigga. Like nigga, when I lost weight, I went on a tour. Any chick that wasn't trying to have me, hey, I get it. Back. I'm back. So women are much different in that regard. But men,
also, first of all, nothing but love for big girls and thick women. But a lot of them don't look right when they lose that weight, boy. Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no goddamn way, boy.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes, no, I think it's catcher. It's hit or miss. It's not always. It's not a one size fits all. No pun intended.
It's not. I've seen some that lost that weight, and you be like,
so are you a firm believer? Because I ain't gonna lie, because people used to say this to me a lot, like during my weight loss journey, and of course I'm still on it. But they always say stuff like, "Well, some people just don't look right small." That's true. You're one of those people. I'm like, what? Like
they told you don't look right small.
People tell me I don't look right because I had a big head.
You do have a big head.
Hey,
but it's like you can't control it.
I can't.
You gotta. Your head is like a triangle block. But
my head is like a triangle block.
But it's because your head is.
I think that you thought that was a compliment. It wasn't.
I feel like
he was like, yeah, triangle block. Like, no, that's rude. Nigga.
If you ever went to jail,
you thought doing this is gonna make it better.
If you ever went to jail and they had the bars like on TV, I feel like you could do this. I'm out of here.
Goodbye, you fools. But nah, that's the thing. I think that They used to tell me stuff like that, like,
Yeah.
so you believe, so you sign up for that line of thinking that some people just look better big.
Yes. There are, listen, man, I've seen people, okay?
Because people say that about Big Boy. People be like, I don't like Big Boy. He looked much better. And they say that about Al Sharpton.
Listen, man.
Jonah Hill wasn't booking as many movie roles.
Listen, brother.
You can say your opinion. This is a safe space.
Let's stick with Big Boy.
Just thousands of people that watch it.
Also, shout out to everybody that's been watching. Like, the episodes are going crazy.
Yes.
The love in the comments is unparalleled. You guys have been listening on the podcast apps, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Yes.
Spotify showing a lot of love. Please keep sharing. Everybody knows at least one person, so send this to somebody. As you hear me saying this, send it to somebody.
Yes.
But Big Boy, I first saw him on Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah, he was about 5 Honda.
Yeah, he was a big guy. And I was like, man, this dude is so funny, right? And he lost weight, and it was for his health, right? So I can't make fun of that. It's a huge thing to do that, man. That's huge. However...
You can make fun of it. He survived it. He's still here with us.
He survived it.
I feel like if he ain't making it off the table, it's like, hey, you're a jerk for saying it. But
I just feel like he needs a little bit more meat on him.
But
And
see-
then you get to, who's your second one?
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton, you wildin'. Al, you out here, man.
So you feel like, but see, that's the thing that
I
you
feel
have.
like if you saw Al Sharpton and you were like,
You would just be like, all right, brother, calm it down, brother. So you feel like, because that's the thing, because I kind of suffered with that, but I never got small enough where people was like, hey, man. So I feel like maybe if I would have like maybe dropped like another 40 from last summer. So I feel like if I would have got down to like 205, 210, people would be like, okay.
well,
enough.
because of the way your head looks, you would be okay small, right? Because you don't have a big guy's head. You have this triangle block head. So it goes.
Stop calling me a blockhead.
Listen, man.
That's all I hear every time you say it.
Because of the way your head is,
Right.
you would look great small. So I don't think you would have to worry about it. You're already small, but even smaller than you are.
Got you.
Yeah.
This is another question I wanted to ask. I know it's been, a long time since you've been on a first date or any date,
Sheesh.
outside of your wife. But
I like the dates with her. It's very fun because it's like, it's that pressure is off. You just get a chance to enjoy each other. You ain't got to say,
oh yeah, that's small talk on the first date.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, there's nothing that makes me want to go back to a relationship to start that race, especially in 2021. Like, it's,
Can't
it's
say
just
nothing
totally
crazy.
different. None
You
of that
giving up
shit.
this box after the salad? All right. Cool.
And just like the dating sites. It's just,
We were talking about that the other day. Like, I don't know how people.
how can you find the connection?
Well, I know how they can because I was a MySpace Mac and a Facebook.
A MySpace Mac.
I was a MySpace Mac.
Well, how was you macking on MySpace? Your top 8 was lit.
Yo, I used to literally reach out to girls on MySpace and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Da 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 da, something cool. And then just get up with them. Like if I was in that city, it was the best. It was like whatever a Tinder is, it was like that.
I feel like MySpace was like the first thing that really popped. It was here and then it was just gone. I feel like it was here for like 2 years and it was just remember niggas they were teaching us to code.
Oh yeah.
They were teaching us to build our little top 8s and then all of a sudden Facebook came and nobody.
I got the music in the back of my mind. So you got stuff glued.
MySpace used to be lit.
Man, people pages used to slow down your computer. You're like, okay, I can't come.
That used to be. This is the thing I wanted to ask you about though. So let's just say you were on a date.
I was a
da-da-da.
Facebook fella. Girls on Facebook.
Facebook
boy.
fella.
Woo.
What would you do if you were on a date and a chick called you another dude's name?
A date or sex? Okay.
A date. I've had a girl call me a different dude's name during sex.
We'll get to that in a second.
I just kept going. It's like, all right.
Jesus.
Like, whatever.
On a first date, I mean, that doesn't really bother me because it's like we don't have anything invested in one another for her to say it. Now,
What do you mean? You guys have done enough to say that you're going to be paying for that date?
that was not discussed. And for my name to not be mentioned, this is somebody that doesn't know me. So it's like, I'm sorry, da 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 da. Like, I have no claim to this woman. But in an intimate capacity, it depends on how long we've been intimate with each other. For you to, like, if Tangerine called me somebody's name,
somebody. Yeah.
She's not gonna be living here anymore. But if it was just, a random girl, it's like, what do you know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying. When it happened to me, it wasn't random. Like, that's why I didn't even trip. I was just like, whatever. Like,
Oh, you were in a relationship with her?
no, it was just a random.
Oh, just I thought you said it wasn't a random.
It was just a random. So I was just like, okay.
Oh, Claude.
I'll be Ben.
You smashed somebody's name. What was his name?
Ben. All right.
Ben.
She said it more than once too. I was like, okay,
Benjamin.
Ben wasn't that great.
Okay. What did she say?
Huh?
What did she say after you said it?
Nothing. Like she said it twice. I didn't even stop her.
Oh, wow.
I was
Never
just
brought it up.
Never brought it up. I mean,
Have you ever said another girl's name?
not loud enough for her to hear.
Wow.
But I have said it and been like, yeah. That's why I don't really get to.
What you say?
That's why, to be very honest, I don't really talk during sex. It's probably weird, but like,
ooh, baby.
I don't want to say the wrong thing. I genuinely be. But see, if I was on a date and a chick called me somebody else's name, I'd feel offended because it's like, no, you don't owe me the homage of being super into me and overly doing it. But if you're on a date with me, I would like to assume that you've given it enough time and thought to know me enough. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, we've had a couple of conversations. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, you're looking to build and not just being like he could. Now, if it's just a simple, like a mistake, like you were, my name is, Tony, and you were talking about somebody named Tom, and the conversation's about Tom, and you're like, oh, and Tom, I get that, but if you call me somebody else's name on the first date, that's probably going to be our last date.
Man,
I'm
last
not
dates,
with
especially, it's like for you to be able to get another date, you should always get pretty strands. Pretty strands is something that allows your hair to grow naturally without any harmful chemicals to your scalp.
Where can they find it at?
Man, prettystrands.com.
Come on, man.
And
we've been having a good time. Oh, side note, did you see this?
Yeah.
The NFL halftime show.
Oh my goodness!
So they
bro.
got Dr. Dre,
Yeah.
Eminem, Kendrick Lamar,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige. I don't know where the Mary J. Blige part
That was
came.
random.
That was just random.
'Cause
Like,
she's East Coast, they're all West Coast. Well, Eminem is Midwest.
but she's a singer. It's just this is all hip hop. It was just but I'm not mad at Mary J. being there. It was just like, if you heard just 4 or 5 rappers and then it's just like,
Have you seen her documentary?
who, Mary J. Blige?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Oh, it's on Hulu.
Okay.
So check this out, man. Naeem posted this on his page, and I was so thankful somebody other than me said it because Tangerine and I have been talking about this for months.
Okay.
Mary J. Blige has a documentary about her album, her second album, which was multi-platinum.
Was it Share My World or My Life or
Yeah, My Life, I think.
My Life?
And it was
Fire
so
album.
fire. And people were coming up to her at concerts and telling her how much they loved her and how much that album helped them through everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like literally crying, and she was like, come on, let's get this picture. And when Naeem said it, I said, thank you, because I have literally been saying this for months. I'm like, imagine spilling your heart out to somebody and they just say, let's get this picture. It was so, I'm like, Mary J. Blige, say something back to them. Say, yo,
Something
when
just-
I was in that moment, or give them some, like when people reach out to me, bro, when they're heartfelt or when I see them in person, I'm with them in that moment. I'm like, what? Because I'm so humbled that I could have done anything to change somebody's life
Or
for
in
the
their
better,
life at all.
or
Just
influence
impact
them.
it.
Yeah, impact it. It's like, oh my God, like this is what I have felt with people like a Martin or other people that I've met in my life. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe you did this for me.
Was she
Bentley
doing this to
Evans,
several people? Like she was doing this to several people when she would take the picture? She just didn't have a lot of energy for nobody?
You gotta watch it. I bet
Really?
you want to talk about it next week. I bet you. I'm talking about people who change your life. And I'll be like, I'm in it with you, bro. Like, man, yo, like, thank you, man. Like, we all go through stuff, and just the fact that I was able to, you said that I was able to do that, that means a lot. Like,
Right. It's just
or whatever
something,
the case.
not just.
Should be like, come on.
Let me ask you this
Blew
before
my mind.
before we even move on to
Yeah.
who else is on the thing. How do you feel about when it's, because people always say this about her, and I never wanted to believe it because I was just like, no, I don't want to believe it's about Mary J. Blige. But the more years have gone by, I'd be like, well, maybe this is right about Mary J. Blige. Do you feel like her career and her song matter, much like Adele, only really pushes the needle when it's about sad stuff happening in her love life. And what I mean is, it's no shade to Mary J. Blige. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. I think she's a dope artist. But when you think about the dopest records that she comes out with, they're usually marred in some really sad story of love gone wrong. Whenever she kind of tries to I didn't mean to laugh, but like, you know, when she tries like a club hit, like the dancery, it's just
That was
like,
fire.
What's a dancery?
In this dancer.
Didn't say how the song went. Ain't never looked. Google what's a dancery.
I mean, some stuff just gotta.
The hateration,
the beat.
but that just really wasn't. It was just like, what is this? It's even every time I would hear it, I would just be like, what is this?
You know what? To answer your question, bro, nobody likes a happy Mary, unfortunately. But it's because
She probably got a catalog of happy hits, and the label just be like, hey, go get sad.
Because what it is the reason people connected to Mary J. Blige was because of her feelings and her emotions that got them through what they were going through.
Right.
And we have people to sing happy stuff for us. But it's like the person who's going to bring that pain out, because her voice has so much pain and story inside of it,
Right.
that's what she can sing. She's a great trauma singer. But when you start hearing,
trauma singer.
yeah, man. But when you start hearing, "Oh, Happy Day" with that voice, you're like, you know. So it's also the way she got in, like the way you get in.
It's kind of the way you stay.
Yeah, because that's what made you pop. So it's like if I popped for, if I popped for making popcorn, and then randomly I'm like, "Hey, y'all, I also make biscuits."
They're like, maybe you'll get
Like,
your biscuits.
We go to popcorn, fam. Nah. Y'all ain't tasted my biscuits.
I remixed it.
I remixed the
But
biscuit.
I think that's the same thing that's happening to Adele. I feel like I haven't heard nothing from her. It said, hello from the, like it was a set.
It's also
was
same
a
with
sadness.
Taylor Swift, but Taylor Swift has leaned into it. She like, look,
I'm gonna just
I
give you this
need
pain
a story. I'm about to date somebody, break up with them, make some
and then
music.
give you all this album.
Yeah, man. Only
Yo.
person who can sing happy and sad. Ooh, I love Beyonce.
Yeah.
Woo!
You know, somebody said something the other day that was kind of, they said something about Beyonce's catalog about her not having a classic album, I think, or classic songs. Did you see it? I don't want to say it wrong. Tony knows. I think they said she doesn't have any like classic songs. I was like, no, I think she got a.
Send me their address so I can mail them some hands. I hate when people, because there are a lot of people who don't like Beyonce, and those are people who are just genuinely unhappy. But man, Beyonce's so amazing. I love Beyonce.
And she
I
could
love
do-
Beyonce. I love Usher. Man, I rock with Justin Timberlake, but Usher and Beyonce, my ultimate
Those are your
artists.
goats?
Man, next to Andre 3000, of course.
Andre 3000 don't do enough music for me.
I'm sorry, Doughboy. Before we
He
end the
does
show,
it. No,
send me
he
your
does. No,
address
no. See,
so
no,
I can mail you these
no.
hands.
So let me tell you this, because this is the same way I feel about Lauryn Hill. People always say that Nicki Minaj is the best. I mean, that Lauryn Hill is the best female rapper. A lot of people don't ever want to give.
says this?
A lot of people. A lot of people won't ever give Nicki Minaj like greatest, woman rapper. And I'm like, how? I was like, just off of sheer volume and the things that she's accomplished, you got to make her the greatest. But one of the names that always comes up is Lauryn Hill. I'm like, bro, Lauryn Hill don't rap enough. Bro, she had one solo album. She rapped. I had to listen to the whole album for a debate. She only rapped 9 verses on. She rapped more on the Fugees album than she did on her solo album. So much like Andre 3000. I mean, I love the stuff that he did with Outkast, but you got to count those as group outings.
No.
He only did one solo album, and he sung on half of it.
You can't discount him because he is a part of a rap duo. His verses are part of those albums.
Okay, then I'll give you that. But then so then you gave me what, 5 albums? You gave me the Southern Playlist, the Cadillac
How many
Funky
does it
Mixin'.
take for you?
No, I mean, I'll give him that, but I just don't think he has enough volume. When you think about how many albums Jay has, how many albums Nas has, how many albums Drake has, I feel like he doesn't give us enough volume of work. I'm starting to feel the same way about Kendrick Lamar. I love Kendrick. But does he give us enough?
Sometimes
He disappears.
quality is better than quantity, brother. And I need you to remember that.
I don't need you to drop every summer. But are you still telling me you're still looking at Kendrick as one of the dopest in the game?
I never said he was. You just mentioned that.
But the general consensus, and there's no shade to Kendrick. I love Kendrick. I love what he does. But I just feel like, bro, you can't go 5-6 years without dropping an album and still be like, I'm the GOAT. Like, it just doesn't work like that.
You can.
You can't.
Let's look at stand-up comedy.
Okay.
If
Oh,
Eddie
I'm glad
Murphy
that you said
dropped a special tomorrow
Okay.
after taking a 30-year hiatus,
Mm-hmm.
your response would be what?
Listen, it's not going. It's a different world
Didn't
for
say
Eddie.
it wasn't.
It's
We're not even talking about that.
Okay.
We're talking about
Would I be excited to go watch him?
just the brass tacks.
Yes.
Does he still be able to hold on to one of the GOAT titles as the king of comedy, dropping a special or not?
Listen.
With his 2 specials, he's still one of the greatest of all time. And under what you're saying, the volume isn't there.
Okay. This is what I'm going to say about that.
And
this,
taking time off. Go ahead, 'cause I
okay.
got another point.
This is what I'm going to say. If it's anything like there was in seeing what happened with Coming to America 1 and Coming to America 2, which was a movie which is different than stand-up in many ways, I understand. But the movie didn't hit the same. I don't know if Eddie can still move the needle on that step because he had so much more freedom to do what he was doing. Now, could he possibly? I'm not saying he couldn't. Who am I to sit here and doubt Eddie freaking Murphy? But if you were to ask me, like as a betting man, is he still going to be able to give you like a GOAT type performance in 2021, knowing he's going to be way more shackled with, and not just shackled with what he can say, but then shackled with the burden of expectation. He's everybody's daddy out here in comedy. Like he made everybody want to do this. So I don't know. And
Okay.
I think that, and he's even spoken to that point. I think it's the same reason why we'll never get a detox from Dre. Sometimes those expectations can be too much and you don't know if what you're doing can survive now.
Okay.
Let's have this
To
conversation.
this, I'm glad we're having it. To the second part of that, where you said you can't take that many years off, you can't take 5-6 years off and then come back. Like what? Let's talk about Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle dropped "Killing Them Softly" and "For What It's Worth," and "Killing Them
06
Softly"
-ish.
I thought was brilliant from beginning
Fire.
to end. And "For What It's Worth," he did like 2 jokes, 2 bits, because he was really ranting about what he was going through, which is a precursor to him losing the Chappelle show, or leaving the Chappelle show. And I was like, okay, like he had a point, a message. It was sprinkles of who he's become. Now you see Chappelle, who took 7 years off
7.
from doing specials, dropped nothing but specials, and now his final special is coming this Tuesday. That it'll probably aired last night, so we could talk about that.
We got it.
The next.
I almost
episode.
want to do a watch party for that because from what I'm hearing, this is his last one.
I just said that.
Oh, you did? Well, I
That
just heard
goes
it.
to show that you're only.
Wow, this
you
is happening
listen
in front of
to
everybody.
speak. You don't even listen.
I just didn't hear that one part.
That was the main point.
I hate it when you're right. but you just made my point for me. He was able to do what he did, and he is a god with a microphone.
Let's
when
go
he
back
did-
though, boy.
Okay.
Let's really unpack this, bro. Why? What is in your mind? Because that's narcissism.
Is it?
What in your mind says, okay, I can talk now. What in your mind?
It's almost like my mind hears the things that we need to hold on to. And then it's like, okay, we got this, compartmentalizes, and then says, okay, here's what we can say. And I can't believe I just did that live on camera. I don't think it's narcissism.
That's
though.
narcissism.
What is? You don't even know the definition of narcissism.
Well, I'm not gonna do definitions anymore. But what I will do with narcissism,
I don't think you know what it means.
You're self-consumed with yourself. I mean, you're self-consumed with yourself. You're self-consumed. Everything is about you, which is true because you're also a Leo. But beyond that, you don't even recognize that you don't listen. You just wait to speak.
All right. I had nothing. I didn't want to just keep beating the dead horse. I'll work on it. But this is what I'm saying. But you did make my point for me. You said 7 years. And this is why, because I got excited, because I was like, oh, you got a good point. You said 7 years, right? And it was still difficult for him. He didn't come back banging out the... Listen.
Yes, when
he came back, that first one was cool, but then he built up a little... And so what I feel like he's dropped like 4 since he came back, because he had a 4-deal joint with them, right?
Wait, 1, 2, 3. No, he had a
3
3
deal, and now
Then he did a 4. I feel like he did. Also, you got to remember the YouTube special. I mean, the Instagram special he did.
Right.
He did the one about getting his show back, and then he did the George Floyd one.
So he's done about 5 to 6
And
pieces.
you got to count those. As
So you got to count those. So he took 7 off, and then he's had 5 to 6 pieces. With Eddie's people don't even understand this because we don't ever think about it. He's literally been gone from stand-up 30 years.
I said that as well.
So closer to 40.
No, it's not closer to 40.
The last one came out in what, 82?
Yes.
If my math serves me correctly.
No. It didn't come out in 82.
I think that it did.
No, the last one came out in 87.
Okay. So 35 years.
Yeah.
Because we're about to go to 20. So that is, if you, so let's just say it's 35 years for that one. And then Delirious came out in 82 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about 35 and 39 years versus a 7-year layoff. Times change. He may be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? I hope, just because just the comic in me wants to see it, just the fan in me wants to see it. But when you take that much time off, and then when you
Nobody's ever done it.
Exactly. And he only has 2 specials. So it's like we're still
iconic. They stand on.
It's the same thing with rap. Like sometimes when people say that Biggie is in GOAT status, I be like, with 2 albums? Like, and that's no shade to Big. They're great albums, but it's 2 albums. It's dated production. It's dated flows. Like
Tupac's production isn't dated, even though he cranked out all
I feel the
those
same.
albums.
I don't understand why Pac be in people's top 5.
But what you just said goes against your point, because you said Biggie can't be considered GOAT because he only has 2 albums.
Mm-hmm.
The production and everything is aged out. It hasn't. That stuff still plays to this day, especially Hypnotized. But then you talk about Tupac, who made, 20 albums? First of all, for him to have had enough content to go for 20 albums,
right?
And for you to still say he shouldn't be in the top 5.
Well, because I mean, my thing with Pac is just much different. Like, I'm a rapper's rapper.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Pac was good at storytelling and invoking emotion. I don't necessarily think he was an amazing rapper. Like, what he did with his words, his cadences, it was just okay. Like, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, because I live in California. I've seen fights break out over Tupac slander.
I'm not jumping in. I'm breaking one
So
on one.
I'm just like, I don't, so to bring it back to the initial thing. So when I hear something like Andre, like whoever is your favorite, and they deserve to be your favorite. But I just don't feel like he's put up enough reps. Like, I want to, and trust me, I probably love Andre just as much, if not more than you do. I get frustrated with Andre for not rapping more. It's like,
No, I think we all do.
it's like, bro, like, and same thing with Eddie Murphy. And that's why I feel like, because remember Eddie was supposed to come back like in 2019, before the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
He's been talking about this for years.
Time
But
to deal with Netflix.
but I just, what would that sound like? We've never, because obviously we're not going to hear the same type of stand-up that we heard from him back in the day.
Okay, did you ever see him at the it's the award. Dave Chappelle just won it recently. The
Humanitarian?
yes, the humanitarian award, but it is the, I'm gonna think of the name right after the podcast.
He won it like a year or 2 ago, right?
Yeah, the in the comments, type the name of the award.
The Tonys?
No, it wasn't a Tony. It was Mark Twain.
Yeah, come through.
Oh,
I would have
my
never
God.
guessed Mark Twain.
Oh,
That's great.
The comments would have eaten me
Nice.
alive. It's Mark Twain. By the way, anyway, so he won the Mark Twain Award where he talked about Bill Cosby. He did the impression. He did a quick bit about Bill, and then he continued to accept this award.
And it was still fire?
That was him on stage in the moment, being just off the top of the head. He's still hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, yes, times have changed, but so has he. So it's not like he's this 80s comedian living, in the 20s.
Right.
He's literally Eddie Murphy, grown with the times, caught up with the times, and he's still here.
I would love to hear it.
He's not Encino Man.
I know, but I just would be like, what? And sometimes,
Did you ever see Encino Man?
that was one of my favorite movies.
All right, cool.
With Pauly Shore? Pauly Shore is lit.
Buddy.
What was the dude that played in that movie with him? I feel like he kind of disappeared after that.
Brendan Fraser. He's
Where is he
actually
at?
on Doom Patrol right now.
Is he?
Yeah, season 3. He's been
Nice.
working.
With what was I just about to say something about Eddie. Oh, like sometimes I see glimpses. Like when I seen Dolomite, I was like, this is what I missed. This is the old Eddie. But I don't always get that with his movies. Sometimes I be like,
Well, also you can look at ratings too, man. He's a professional actor. So it's like when you
Right.
go within a rating system, if you could do a hard R comedy, great. That's why a lot of people love Cat Williams. They love Mike Epps. You saw Kevin do a rated R comedy, and you're like, oh, this is great, because you could Tiffany blew up off of a
they
rated
can
R
kind of
comedy.
just let the reins loose.
But the thing that people who are regular people don't understand, the rating systems for movies are specific.
Okay.
It's like when you go see a movie and it's rated R, you're going to get the movie that you want in a lot of circumstances. But when you see a rated PG or PG-13, you're not going to get the comedy that you want. So Eddie Murphy, that Coming to America 2 was PG-13.
And I never
It wasn't rated R like the first one.
I never understood that, and I always heard different theories, and I won't expound on the theories that I've heard, but I'm pretty sure you've heard some theories. I never understood why, and mind you, Eddie Murphy owes none of us any explanation.
He's
He's
the king.
richer than any of us, and he's done his thing.
His house is beautiful.
Yeah. So, but I never understood, just from a consumer's standpoint, I never understood why he abandoned R-rated comedy. I've heard the stuff about, hey, I got kids, I want them to be able to enjoy my films. Okay, I get that. But I'm just like, he was the king of R-rated films. I mean, from Coming to America to Harlem Nights to Boomerang to Vampire in Brooklyn. Like, I just felt like he was on a path to just change, entertainment, and then something happened, and it's not that I don't like Nutty Professor Eddie or I don't like Norbit Eddie. I just don't enjoy them as much as I like Dirty Eddie.
Are you ready for this?
What's up?
Everybody likes the person who's dirty. However, Steve Harvey made more money off of Don't Trip, God Ain't Through With Me Yet than he did off of one of his Cold Black. I don't know if it was Cold Black. I think it was like Black comedy series that he had done right after Kings of Comedy, which was rated R. And the reason that is you make more money when this is what they told me doing stand-up.
Okay.
This is the amount of money that you can make being raw, saying all of the crazy stuff you want cussing. This is the amount of money that you can make when you're clean.
Oh, so then
because everybody can see it. Your grandma can watch it. You ain't got to mute the TV.
And he did. He's the voice of the donkey in Shrek.
Come on, man.
So,
Shrek made way
more
than Boomerang.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times it's a money play. I mean,
I just wish that he just would have given us like every 3 years would have been a cool fix. Because he's so dope when he's in
amazing.
that pocket. I feel like nobody.
Dolomite was rated R.
I loved it. That's what I'm saying. Like when he gets back, but I loved him in Dreamgirls. I loved him when he can just be Eddie. I kind of feel like the other stuff puts a little, of a restraint on him. But I would.
Well, you just like artists not having to be restrained.
Yes, I want them to be able to. And he's like, and I think he started the whole movement for not being restrained, and then we just watched him be restrained for 20 years.
Well, you got to understand, man. People grow. People get older. You're not the same person. You're not the same doughboy as you were 10 years ago.
6 months ago.
See?
So we'll bring it back to the original thing. So this halftime show we got.
Look, even this podcast. Like I was giving an example of King wanting me to be like I was when I was 21, and I'm like, hey man,
you said King?
Yeah, Marcus King.
Okay.
When we were talking about he wanted the raw me.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, the raw me at that time was a kid that was ignorant to everything. I was cussing for no reason, and I was saying some really crude stuff, and those kind of things in the world that we live in now is ridiculous to say, are ridiculous to say because it's like I'm a grown man now. I know the impact of my words. So even looking at this video, we're not doing no hard cursing. I'm trying to get you to stop saying the N-word.
Oh, no.
We're trying because this makes this
right
compared to this.
No, and I got to give you your props on that. Like CT is 100% responsible just for this podcast even being as clean as it is, because I come in and he was just the person behind the scenes like, we're going to be messing up our monetization if we do this, even
the
from
first couple episodes was yellow.
Oh yeah, so even just saying the D words when you're referring to male anatomy or just different things, we're like, don't say. And what it also let me know is that we're talented enough to not rely on profanity. It doesn't have to be our
now on stage live.
Right.
Oh boy, you
go to town.
A cussing storm.
Right. But when you
kids
hear
be like, how old you got to be to come to the show? Not your age,
exactly.
Fam. You got to be a little older, baby boy.
So with the now with the Super Bowl, the reason why I feel this kind of really cool about this is because Jay-Z has signed on to kind of partner up with the NFL a couple years ago, and then his first year of the Super Bowl, everybody was mad at the choices. Man, like, who are these people? Like, you're supposed to be hip hop, but apparently
think you could just start a job and be the man right there.
Change, right? Yeah. So for him to circle back and bring Eminem, Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop, and Mary J. Blige.
Also,
And
he probably-
it's gonna be in LA. You know that,
It's
right?
gonna be in LA.
This year.
Also, it was booked. Like, here's the thing: with events like that, they book a year or two in advance.
Right.
So this was probably booked 2 years, ago.
and people were still getting mad at him. People ain't never happy.
We're gonna have Miley Cyrus and Bruno Mars this year. Jay-Z messing up.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like, bro, they
yeah,
had it
for the
booked.
culture.
It was booked.
How you feeling about this? This is the
excited.
most excited I've been in a long time.
I'm laughing because they think that they have, because they had to add a token white person. They think Eminem's white.
Oh yeah,
That's the funny thing. They're like, oh, we need somebody white. And it was like, oh, okay, cool. Well,
Eminem.
Eminem. They're like, oh, great. And it's like,
This is finna be a turned up.
he's not what you think.
A turned up event. I'm glad that we're seeing diversity. I'm glad that we're seeing hip hop. I mean, for a whole hip hop card, essentially, because you can basically call Mary J. Blige a hip hop singer.
She's the queen of R&B and hip-hop.
Yeah. So I think this is
Hip-hop and
gonna.
R&B.
I think this is gonna be lit, man. I'm.
And Ashanti's the princess of hip hop and R&B.
Is she?
That's what they were calling her back in the early 2000s.
Not even like that. That's what they were calling her. Hey man, this has been. I have been your boy, Doughboy.
You didn't know that?
No, I don't feel like she had enough hits for that.
She was, listen,
Ashanti
man,
didn't have hits, and
We
I'm
gotta-
not hating on you,
bro.
Ashanti. All y'all got more hits than me,
bro.
but if I'm just speaking from a consumer's point, nah.
listen, they had some fire early 2000s.
You know, there's a lot of people that think that Mary J. Blige can't sing, or Ashanti for that matter. A lot.
Man, Mary J. Blige can
No,
sing.
I used to get roasted, but for saying that Mary J. Blige could sing. People say she doesn't have a great voice.
Ashanti just got her masters back, so she owns her masters now. She's gonna re-release her first album, Foolish.
Who cares?
Her fans.
Name me 3 songs off Ashanti. Name me 3 Ashanti songs.
3 Ashanti songs: "Down for You," "Foolish," "Baby." That's also "Rock with You." Then I got to think about "Happy."
That's for real.
That was
Only happy I know is I'm just talking trash. Ashanti is a friend of the podcast.
Is she a friend of the podcast? I didn't
just
know
joking.
you knew her.
I'm just talking
She's a
trash.
friend of the
Did
show.
you have anything else off of this thing you want to?
Here's the thing, man.
Talk about?
Let's talk about this, though, boy.
You always think I'm Russian. I ain't.
You are, and
Right.
you have to be smoother going into these topics.
be these
You
hard
do
lefts.
this, you be like, man, that's crazy. So if we look at the docket, it's like, oh boy, like I fed you one last week. We were like, blah blah blah. I'm like, yo, that makes me think about da 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 da. And you
I
like,
caught that.
let me look
Slammed
at this.
it
And
off
I'm
the
like,
glass.
oh boy,
I'm not as smooth. I think I'm hungry too, though.
You haven't eaten today?
I had 3 tacos before I got It's a lot going on in my life, man.
That's what we didn't talk. So we were talking the other day,
Uh-huh.
and I know this was eating you up, and I was laughing so hard.
What's that?
So I text Doughboy. I'm like, hey man, why is the Menace to Sobriety going up faster? Menace to Sobriety clips going up faster than the Just Us League clips, right? And he's like, man, pull your phone out. Go to that message.
No, because somebody said that in the comments.
What?
Can we have one episode without you guys talking about your text combos?
And you know
it's
what I
our
had to say
thing,
to that?
man. It's our thing.
I said, I'm like, yo, bro, it's like we have these conversations. Hopefully we can have one. But Jesus, what are you watching the show?
Hold on. It was in the
Just Us League. John.
Justice League. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
I
right,
said.
let me see.
Oh, you want to be?
So you said I've dropped the ball last week and this week. Tony does the clips for Menace. I'll get back on top of it. Last few weeks were a bit hectic for me. My apologies. I'll get a clip from this episode over in a few. And then you did a voice note explaining. So my thing was, I know he want me to ask him what happened.
Nah, not
I
necessarily.
was like, nope.
Nah, it wasn't even that, man. It's just kind of like what I was saying at the beginning of the episode, man. The older I get, I'm starting to up the level of my emotional maturity and just kind of just understand, like, okay, if I'm feeling a certain type of way during the day, why did I feel like that? Was my food off? Did I not get no sunlight? Like, did I not exercise? So I'm always just kind of, and I think with today, like, yeah, I ate like a couple tacos before I got here, but I hadn't ate nothing else all day. So I'm just like, 3 tacos ain't enough, nigga. I ain't greedy. Am I?
Listen, man.
3 tacos is too much.
Hey, brother, I'm not judging. I'm just saying if we could just refrain from
Oh,
the
the
N-bomb.
N-word. My bad. My bad.
You got so offensive. Free
I was
talk.
like, free
Hey, there you
talk.
go, brother. Whatever
But
you
nah,
into.
I think, and then plus I was like sleeping a lot today, so
That's a great shirt. What's on the shirt?
can't knock the hustle.
Who was that? Barbie and Ken?
I don't know. It's like just some. I don't know. Got it from Burlington.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I was into the color scheme.
Yeah, it's a nice color.
Yeah, man. So I'll be into it. But nah, man. I just be trying to just fix my mood. So it ain't like nothing. That's what I was saying. Like it don't be like anything be happening. I just be like, it's hard to try to explain that to yourself when it's 10 o'clock in the morning and you got to get up and you got to go be productive, especially knowing my situation. Like I got things I got to do. And then I'm just like, but I don't want to though.
Have you been smoking?
Huh? Not as much. No, I had actually stopped for like a week and a half. So it wasn't even the smoking. I was just
Taking your medicine?
taking my medicine. Haven't stopped taking my medicine yet,
Nice.
but slipping on the work. I'm just genuinely starting to feel like I got to at least at the very minimum get outside and go for a walk every day. It doesn't have to be some strenuous balls to the wall, workout. It just needs to be something of me kind of knocking the cobwebs
Take
off.
some music, man, and just go walk around the block 2 times.
Yeah, and my dogs love going for walks, so I think I'm gonna.
They're dogs.
They love getting out. We be getting mad at them for barking on the balcony. Like, why are they out there barking? They're dogs.
They need something to
We're
do.
trash. So
When you say that, that's real. You take your medicine. I mean, you got to take it day by day. You got
Right.
to just, not force anything. But
and I think I need to just. I know that I've said this on past episodes. I think I need to just do social media fast. I don't know that social media is the greatest for me.
does something trigger you on social media to make you?
It's a few things that trigger me. It's a few people that trigger me, and it doesn't always put me in the best frame of mind.
You can mute people. That helps.
But the wild thing is like Instagram I be on Instagram the most, and that's probably the one thing I don't monetize. So it's just like I just be on there to feel bad. It's like
When I told you to go to YouTube.
exactly, or even
Or
Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just
The audiences are really different. Let me give you this. Like Facebook, I'll do Facebook last. Instagram that's the people. Hey man, add me to you. I'm trying to rap for you right now. Hey man, and they trying to say something crazy to you. YouTube show love. It's people
YouTube show
that
love.
got jobs, people that genuinely got a love for you, and then Facebook is like family. Like those
Really?
people on Facebook, they have a genuine love for you. Like not just you, but I'm talking about overall in my experience. So I would say if you're gonna go live anywhere, and you could bring people on camera with you on Facebook, just
Right.
like Instagram, YouTube. If you did like a Zoom link, then they could come in. But Instagram, I mean, you keep going there for some reason. So apparently,
I just think that I don't know. I just think that maybe just cutting it a little bit and just learning just to learn what's bothering me. I'm like, yo, I was in a bad mood. Like, I probably spent 20, 30 minutes on Instagram. I'm gonna stay off of that for the rest of the day. And just learn to like stay away from certain foods. Like sugar ain't really good for me. So it's just really just twisting
sugar ain't
the
good for
knobs.
nobody.
It's just, and that's really was the main ingredient in alcohol when I was doing the drinking. So
Yeah.
it's just really twisting the knob. So in answer to your question, it really was nothing huge. It was just me dealing with my emotions.
Can I ask you a
I'm
question?
yeah.
How come you ain't got no Sacramento hats?
Cause I'm a LA dude now. I'm an LA fan. All my teams are LA teams now.
Oh yeah.
Plus, I don't know, Sacramento's just kind of,
Catch Doughboy this weekend at the Sacramento.
Wait till I go to Sacramento, ain't nobody gonna be at the show. I'm just not
Nobody.
really a Kings fan.
You said-
The Kings fan ain't that good, and then the black and purple don't really match with much.
Man, you are really laying it on thick.
Hey man, LA stuff
Where
match
you're
with
from.
stuff. But the color schemes.
Man, every time somebody asks me what's your favorite team, I'm like Lions, Tigers,
And you're lying.
Pistons,
None of them good.
Red Wings. Any other questions?
You know you're eligible to switch over now from the Doughboy surplus plan.
From the Doughboy surplus plan?
Yes,
Tell
because
me about this plan.
okay, listen, I switched teams. I didn't want to be a disloyal guy.
Okay.
And I said, look, I have to be a resident of Los Angeles for at least 10 years, a decade. Then I can move over to their team.
Why did you sound like you're teaching me something? Is 10 years a decade?
I'm telling you. So
I had no idea.
you can switch over and not get looked at wild because you're more of a, and you've been here longer than me.
Listen, here's the problem.
Join with me and be a fraud.
I will not. No, sir, I will not. My Braxton voice, bro. In Detroit, here's the unfortunate thing. Detroit I moved to LA after being in comedy 2.5 years. And the social media wasn't big when I left Detroit. So a lot of the comedians that are still there now and a couple that left after the internet boom, they know them, right? So I get a lot of people like, I didn't know you were from Detroit. And I'm like, I've been putting city on my back since before I even got into comedy. I've been representing Detroit before them shirts came out versus everybody. And you don't know I'm from the city. And it sucks, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm the one who had to endure all the "it's so cold in the D," all of those jokes, and you don't know that I'm from here. So I just start putting at the end of all my videos, I'm from Detroit, and because I got pride in my city, man, and it's one of those cities where you gotta leave to become something because
Sacramento is too.
They don't appreciate you while you're there.
Facts.
Literally, you go back home, it's like, oh my God, but I'm like, you don't see this type of support for the comedians that are there a lot of times.
But I did get 916 tattooed on my arm, so I showed some love. I got it on the top of the Doughboy hat.
I've never seen it. Oh, nice.
Yeah, 916.
Okay, 916.
So yeah,
that's Sacktown.
You already know that all day, every day.
BT calls it Swaggermento.
And nobody else does, but but BT.
Swaggermento.
I remember he used to say that. He's thinking it was gonna catch on. I'm like, we're not calling it.
It never caught on. Just like he be thinking that's a K. I'm like, it's not a K, bro.
Yeah.
You look like you chopped off your ring finger.
Side note, shout out to Kingsley. Kingsley dropped a record the other day. I was like,
Kingsley Crew, man.
bruh, he's starting to figure it out, man. And I could take a little bit of a, like as a proud like person to watch because I taught him how to count bars. Like
Speaking of bars,
what's it? I haven't had them, man. They will be back.
You were in the studio this week. Why were you?
But I wasn't rapping. That's the thing. I wrote. I've been executive producing some other things. This is okay. Let me tell you. This is something that I really want to do. Right. So I really want to create. Let me see this. I want to see. Now I am pitching you something. There's nothing I'm going to say on stage. Cool. But this is something real. That's a real thing. You know how I do the funny songs, right? I want to create a record label where I only sign comedians that do music, that do funny music, and call it, you ready for this? Cash Funny Records. And I want to be the CEO of it.
Of Cash Funny?
Of Cash Funny Records. Or Young Funny. I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth. But I like Cash Funny Records.
Cash Funny?
And that's what I want to do because I genuinely feel like I love music. I love making people laugh.
Yeah.
And I want to, because I was in the studio with Shantae this week. She's working on some stuff. Just wait till she drops some stuff. I was working with Brent. He's working on, and I'm just like, well, maybe I got all these. And you sing, Teddy sings. I'm like, I could create a stable of artists. And even if you didn't want to do the funny stuff, like there's still so many comedians that do music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could do that. I've said this live. If somebody steals my idea, we're coming to get you. But
well, I mean, they still got to get the comedians.
Yeah. So I think that's what. So even when I was in the studio, like I'm working on other people's projects, and like that gives me joy because I genuinely love. Yeah, but it wasn't me. I think that I have just gone through something. But listen. You've called me out for the second week in a row. I seen some people in the comments. Next episode, the bars are back.
Wow.
That's all I'm gonna say. The bars are back, and from that point on, you guys won't be missing that. I'll bring it back.
Wow.
We've had enough time.
I was really wondering. I'm like, man, what's up with this?
Because it had become a staple of the show. Yeah. Can't just quit. But I just hadn't rapped in. I think the first time what we do need to do though is figure out how to get the sound, because I remember I tried to play my.
Here's the thing: the beat. It's easy to bring my laptop right here and play the music, but you don't even need your phone to do that thing because the mics are gonna pick it up.
But will it have the same effect like that it had in the studio? Because they could hear it like it was plugged in.
Like it was plugged in. Now here's the thing: the thing that I could do,
or even if you have like a little speaker.
That would be the same thing as the laptop. Right. But the thing that I could do, like what we do. When I drop the episode, you see how the music plays in the very beginning. It's like, bam, I'll just put it over the thing. So it would just we'd have to start it at the same time stamp. And yeah, that'd be fine.
Well, it's going to be back next week, and maybe we'll just figure out how to produce that before we get there. But
it's already figured out.
I just wanted to say that.
No, I know you wanted to say it to give you an excuse to not be ready next week. Listen, I know you, bro.
I hate it. Get out of my head, you.
Go on and skip. What do you want to tell the people before we get out of here, man?
Drink lots of water. Be good to people and speak good energy, man. Do those things because you're gonna get more of what you put out. So don't be out here putting out a bunch of negative energy, man. Be positive. And next week, let's talk about Squid Games because by the next week, I will have watched the whole thing.
Blow your mind.
I've watched episode 1. I wasn't a fan of how I felt like the voices didn't match the energy of the actors. Yeah, I don't like that. But I'm going to go back because everybody seemed to think it's just an amazing show.
Now, here's the thing. Episode 1 is a slow start. I tell everybody, I'm like, look, I told my sister earlier, I say, look, episode 1 is a slow start, but the reason it's slow is because they got to give you this character development. Okay. They got to tell you why. And episode 2, boy,
it's
ain't
that,
no way, boy.
Okay. Tony wants to watch that, so I'm going to get on that. And side note, I want to recommend a new show for you. I don't know if you've seen this show. You seen a show called 60 Days In?
No. Sounds like prison.
Take a look. It's a prison show. No. But listen, it's a reality show though. And it's regular people that get sent to go in to the jail, but they're undercover. And they're like trying to get people to like tell them stuff about the jail. And they're only there for 60 days. Like they be fighting and it's wild. Just watch one episode. It's on Netflix.
Are these people Wahite?
What's that? No, some they're white, some and black. Like it's different colors of people. But you got to watch it.
Wahites.
What's Wahite?
Shout out to King James. He told me Wahites. I say, bro, I'm saying that everywhere. The Wahites, bro. I say, and I had to say it slow to get it. I say,
I caught it the first time you said it.
Wahites, bro.
So yeah, there we are. Who have you been this episode?
Also, man, I want to give a random shout out to somebody that I follow online.
Okay.
This brother Nathan Centron. He does these food videos and he sings over them. Mm-hmm. Bro, I'll send you
food
a video.
Videos?
Oh my God. He sings over food videos and he talks about what the person's cooking. And it's so funny. And it's like, there's a segment where it's like somebody making something crazy. Like somebody made some Pepto-Bismol pancakes, like pink Pepto-Bismol pancakes. And he was like, immediately, no. And he's like, cooking with white people.
Yo, the
Nathan Centron.
The internet has made people so wildly creative. Who would think to sing over cooking video?
That's the thing,
You can do whatever you want. There's no excuse.
When you got the internet, man, like we're popular specifically because of internet. We do TV and all of that, but the internet is where the people are. That's like you go straight to them. Also, I will say this, man.
Say it.
Y'all got to get off Dope Boys back in these comments, man. Man. I get the humor in some of the stuff because it's like a lot of y'all mean well, man, but you gotta keep in mind
what they've been saying because I ain't been in there.
Nothing. You gotta keep in mind of everything that we said in this episode, man. So always show love, share, comment. Like if you haven't pressed share while you're watching this, are you really supporting us?
Come on now. And don't take nothing but a minute to do it. And just think if everybody that watched the video shared it, probably double our views. And we can really appreciate that.
It's like we look at Joe Rogan's podcast and it's like, all right, bam. Here's the problem. It's like we're over servicing the people. We're giving them content for free. We're also shout out to the people on my Patreon. Thank you. Y'all getting this episode tonight.
Yes.
Today is Saturday. But it's like we're giving this content for free. We're also in the comments showing love and thanking you, and yet you can't share it for us.
Come on, man. What's the problem?
Share it. But if this was one of the podcasts like a Joe Rogan or one of the super large podcasts, it's like people wouldn't even think to just hit share and immediately do something to give to their network of people. It's like, yo, man, what is it going to take for us to...
And the gag is that those big places, those big podcasts became that because people shared it when they were on a smaller level.
Shout out to Bo Thompson. She shares every one of my posts.
We appreciate you, Bo.
She or he. Bo, thank you.
We appreciate you, Bo.
Yeah, man. So,
So yeah, I'm good, man. This has been a good time, man. We be talking, man. We be having a good time.
Let me tell you something. You be trying to end the show 20 minutes in.
Nah.
Yo, man. So, and
we almost went for 2 hours today. I'm glad.
I have been dope.
We can keep going.
Nah, it's time.
I'm a little hungry, but it's been a good episode. I've been your boy Doughboy.
CT is dope.
Next time.